I should probably come up with an intro.
Yeah, we did think of that. As it was counting down, I thought, who's speaking first?
We both are. Well, I mean, to everyone who's watching, Merry Christmas, because this is coming out Christmas Day. As we recording this, we're about 2 weeks ahead, but it's still the Christmas season, Christmas spirit, and much. No, wait, hold on. I'm keeping this part in while I think of stuff on the spot. But
It was
what better
going well.
yet? Oh, what better yet to get into Christmas spirit than watching all our favorite Christmas movies? And because of that, me and Elliot have decided why not we list our top 5 Christmas movies for you all to enjoy. Unless you've already seen it, then watch it again.
Nicely done. I thought that was good. So
But
should we roll
yeah,
straight into it with
so
five?
I'll let you go first. What is your number 5?
My number five is a slightly controversial choice. It's totally picked out of nostalgia. Christmas with the Cranks.
I have
I
never seen it.
was to say I was trying to go off your reaction, but there wasn't one.
I know, because I was ready to react. I'm like, wait, I haven't seen this one. I Disclaimer on the top: I've not seen a lot of Christmas movies. Once you see my list, it's all classics and stuff from my childhood. Modern day Christmas movies or somewhat modern day Christmas movies, I haven't seen.
I'm the same. There's a lot of them that I haven't seen. Some of the really famous ones, like I've never seen It's a Wonderful Life, which I think is meant to be a really famous Christmas movie. There's quite a few, and even Home Alone 2. I think I've only seen it like maybe once or twice. It's very vague in my memory.
Hmm.
But yeah, no,
Yeah,
don't
that's
worry
fair
about
enough.
that. I'm the same there. Right there. This is
Cool.
a
We're on the
fairly
same page. And anyone who has
yeah.
a problem, leave a comment down below. It helps the algorithm.
It is based on our taste and our taste alone. But the reason I enjoy Christmas with the Cranks is I don't really know why my mum decided to pick this one out, but just in the build up to Christmas one year when we were kids, she just bought this for me and my sister to watch, keep us occupied, just, something to put on, a little Christmas treat. And it just kind of became a routine that every Christmas we watched Christmas with the Cranks together. And it's a very flawed movie. There are a lot of problems with Christmas with the Cranks. The biggest one that comes to mind is they have this continuous argument. The family of the Cranks, they continue to argue with their neighbours, and the wife of the neighbours has cancer, and it doesn't really blend with the Christmassy tone. It doesn't really feel like it belongs. To be honest, it feels quite sinister in places when it's not meant to. So, on some level, it's enjoyable because it's bad. If you just watch it for that reason, but it's not entirely hopeless. There is a really nice plot structure that I've not really seen in many other movies. They're an older couple. Their children have gone away. They're in different countries now. And they're just sort of thinking, like, well, why are we bothering to do Christmas if it's just me and you? It seems a bit sort of over the top. So they decide they're going to go and out on a cruise somewhere, but the rest of the neighborhood put on such a big display that they try and sort of almost force them into celebrating Christmas, which is, I don't really know many films that do it that way. I think it's a really good structure, but it is a Tim Allen movie, so of course it becomes slapstick, stupid, pee and poo in the face, all those kinds of jokes, as you can imagine. And that
Yeah.
is my fifth choice, Christmas with the Cranks. It's worth a watch, in my opinion. So I believe that brings us to your number five.
Yeah, my number 5, not controversial, but as for me, like I could not decide out of the rest of my list because these were like once I reached number 5, I was looking at the Christmas films I have seen, and looking at like okay, what has been the most memorable? At least maybe not the best, because like there's stuff that I've left out on my list that people will say, oh, this is the best Christmas film that I just don't have because it didn't leave a mark on me. Like my number
Yeah,
5, Frosty the Snowman, I would rerun this all the time
yeah,
on VHS as a kid and just get the song stuck in my head and sing it with my dad. And so it's a simple story. You know the song, Frost Snowman, he comes alive, they all have fun, and then the sun comes up and global warming.
It comes with a message.
Yeah, no, like all those classic animated Christmas films, yeah, they all had a message and stuff. It was just cool to just um because where I am, there's no snow at all, so we always vacation to snow. So it's always cool to see snow on TV and just Snowman. And watching
Yeah,
that, I always wanted to build a snowman growing up.
it's very rare over here where I am. It snows once every 5 years if you're lucky. I think we're due some this year, to be fair. It's really cold over here at the minute. It's plummeted in temperature.
Dang, we're supposed to get rain. I hope we get rain. California needs rain. What is your number four?
My number four is Muppets Christmas Carol. I think you might have this higher on your list.
Wait, I never wrote it down. Oh God,
Oh, there's one you could have
I forgot
considered.
to write it down.
That could have been your number five.
I could have been my number
Controversial.
five.
Shock reveal.
Oh, you go with yours, and then I'll add on to it because I'm s-
You,
I'm changing everything up.
once I say my bit, you can chime in and say what you like about it as well. We can do it
Yeah,
like a joint.
this is
uh,
our joint number four. I am tossing Tim Allen out the window.
bye bye, Tim Allen. the
Well, actually,
uh,
it'll be
the
Frosty,
biggest
so Tim Allen would go. Okay.
the biggest praise I can give this movie is that I don't actually like musicals. They're like I watch them because I'm a critic, so to speak, and I kind of have to, and I try and be fair, and I'm like, but realistically, do I go to the theatre and watch, singing and song dancing? It's not really my thing, not really. But I really like this one. This one I just totally get in the groove for. It gets me in the Christmas spirit, and I think that I think it's the imagination to it. The Muppets themselves are cast really well as the Charles Dickens characters as they were written, and I remember it being quite scary. I can't. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember one of the ghosts being this really big guy with like a almost like a black hole for a face. It really
Oh
creeped
yeah,
me out.
the Christmas Future.
It was. I think it was the Christmas Future. He really creeped me out as a kid. That was sort of hide behind a pillow moment. But I kind of also liked that it did that. It wasn't shying away from it. It was, they were letting Scrooge know you're going to die if you keep this up. This isn't a moment to be all cheery about. So he should be kind of scary and like this impending doom. I think it's really good. Just what's it, the I forgot the actor, Michael Caine. I think
Yes.
it's really impressive to think that he is working against puppets. He's having to properly act like they are there. They're real living creatures and they matter. They have personalities. I couldn't imagine doing that. I'm no actor, but I would find that really hard to take seriously, personally. So I think this film has a lot of personality, and like I say, it's a musical that I actually enjoy. So of course it's on here. Yeah, that's a really rare badge to come from me.
Yeah, and like going off of what you said with Michael Caine in it, that was a bit of surprise because like he's like that part of his career he's doing like big, more Oscar worthy films, and then here he is doing the Muppets.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose back then it was a bit before my time, but I imagine this probably was a little bit of a risk. Had the Muppets really had a successful movie prior to this one?
I'll have to check because I know this is probably the run where the Muppets were just putting out like A plus material. Because this
Yeah,
one I only saw like I saw it for the first time last year. Me and my brother saw it on TV one year and we were laughing, but we're like we gotta start from the beginning, and we never got around to it until last year, and we were just dying laughing the entire time.
I say,
Our
yeah,
favorite scene was Marley and Marley, the when the two old men are just singing and throwing up the chains and everything.
yeah.
God, that gets me every time.
No, it's excellent. I think my only downside is that it is the the Christmas Carol, and everyone seems to sort of know that story inside out, back to front by now because it's been done to death. So that is probably the only gripe I have, but that is such a small gripe because it does it with such personality, originality. The songs are really lively, really catchy. They're very memorable. So when I say it's a gripe, it's a very small one.
Yeah, and they do kind of their own thing because usually when you watch a Christmas Carol movie, it just follows Scrooge. But with them, you have I forgot the rat's name, and then but they narrate the story, and then you
Yeah,
follow with everything, and you have their kind of side story as well.
yeah. I'm trying to think of his name, but it's not coming to me. I've got his. I can see him in my head.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So Gonzo plays like Charles Dickens, and then Rizzo.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and they narrate the entire thing as we follow Scrooge.
But I believe that brings us on to your fourth choice, unless
This
you
is my
wanted to.
fourth choice now. This is now my fourth choice. My previous fourth choice, which is now my number five choice, was Tim Allen's The Santa Claus.
Okay, do you want to do your the Santa Claus now then?
Yeah, might as well. So the
Or you
Santa
can just
Claus, what- I'll do a little quick one just so we could get the ball rolling a little bit more. But this was, I think, peak Tim Allen, like right after Home Improvement started going off. I
yeah,
think after the second or third season, he did this movie, and this is kind of how his career really blew up. And it's just a fun go around of how I love how they show like the North Pole and all the elves and the work that goes into it, and the set designs are like that's what I believe the North Pole was like growing up.
yeah, yeah. I see what you mean.
Like never
This
mind the
film,
story, it's a simple one.
this film has a nostalgia for me. It's a strange one. I actually very nearly made this my number five. It was between this and the Christmas with the Cranks. But this film always reminds me of. I don't know if this is just a very UK thing, but as when you're at school and you're getting towards breaking up for Christmas, the class gets like, you're not taking things seriously. The teacher doesn't care. You can do whatever you want, basically. It's a free for all. And our science teacher, who was quite weird and quite crazy, but that's a story for another day, she always used to put on the Santa Claus when it was that sort of time of year and we were in science. And that, it just always sort of it makes me that 12-year-old boy again, sat at the back of the class, mucking around with my friends while the Santa Claus was playing while I was sat at school. That's my little nostalgia memory lane.
Yeah, because this would always be on TV or someone would put on VHS just to distract me and whoever I was with, whether my friends and my brother. And it's just
it
always it's a good distraction film. I would say that.
is. It is. It is. I can see that. I've got a niece and a nephew, and they would definitely watch this. They would definitely sit still and watch this.
Moving on
As
to
the
three.
number three, another musical, Nightmare Before Christmas. I watched this very recently and it still held up every bit. I loved it as much as I did the first time. The same praise. I don't like musicals, but I do like this one.
I'm starting to notice
I
you might like musicals.
Yeah, maybe I'm just repressing it.
The rest of your list is all musicals. Like I don't like it, but this one in particular.
As soon as the cameras are off, that's all I'm doing. I'm just watching musicals all the time. But I think this probably is my favorite musical. As small as that list is, it's probably this and Muppets. This I think I don't know why it just kind of speaks to me. I think it's the wackiness, the craziness of it, the Tim Burton ism of it, the way it's designed, the blending of Halloween and Christmas, and that somehow working really well when it feels like it shouldn't. It feels like that would just be a horrible clash of dark and bright, but they do it so nicely, and it's such a original movie. I love the songs. I don't really know the proper name of it, but I call it "What's This?" because "What's this? What's this?" That's my favorite song from the film. Yeah, I don't know. I love it. I know that's not very critical of me, but it just speaks to me every time it's on. It just grabs my attention. I sit down and I thoroughly enjoy the animation as well. I'm always reminded of the fact that this is stop motion, and this would have been every little detail of the mouth moving, the eyes changing. That would have been a head being changed. That would have been an arm being moved. this must have been endless man hours of to create just a scene, let alone the whole film. I think it's awesome, masterpiece. So that brings us on to your. Am I right in thinking this is number three now?
Number three, and we're back in the Christmas Carol with the Mickey's Christmas Carol. It's
Nice.
the same story, you all know it, but again, it's one of those things like it depends on the characters you throw in. And with this, you got Uncle Scrooge as being Scrooge. It's perfect.
It is a good fit. I think I used to watch this a lot when I was a kid. It's quite vague in my memory. The one that really sticks in my head was the one where Mickey Mouse turned into the Nutcracker and he had to sort of dance around like a wind up toy. And it was to the tune of the Nutcracker. I don't know. I remember there was quite a few episodes of them, like they did a few different
Oh
ones.
yeah, yeah. No, this was because I know the Mickey's Christmas Carol came out before, but I think they threw it in how we probably saw it was the House of Mouse holiday special. They threw in all these little shorts.
Yeah, yeah, that's it's very similar over here. They just sort of did it in 5 minute segments, one after the other.
Yeah, so
But they
like if I could, I
put
would throw all of them in. But like if I'm picking a particular one, then yeah, Mickey's Christmas Carol.
yeah, no, that's fine. I'm not being the referee here. But
No, yes, we are.
no, I
Throw throw the red card.
if it, we might be remembering different ones, but I remember enjoying it thoroughly as a kid. I imagine they're probably on Disney Plus now, are they not?
I'll check after this, and then I'll
It,
just throw it in the editing. Like, yeah, it's on.
it could be a fun revisit, actually. Yeah, I might check that out. It's been a long time.
Yeah, because the animation's on point, as I mean, Disney animation usually is most of the time, and just seeing I remember how kind of heartbroken it was when they show the future and Mickey's just all sad because his son has died. Little was it Timmy?
Tiny Tim, yeah.
Tiny Tim, yeah. I just remember as a kid, like, oh no,
Things got dark.
it gets dark pretty well. Like especially like
Hmm.
when Pete comes at the end, like, yeah, we're gonna throw you in this fiery pit that is your grave.
I always felt Disney strangely did that really well for a period. They did just sort of go, "Here's something really dark and that will scar your memory," but kids just seem to lap it up and just be like, "Yeah, give me more of that, please." So, at least I was anyway.
On to number two.
Number two is Home Alone, the first one. I think this movie as a concept is genius. The fact that it's set at Christmas, that's just the cherry on the cake. This could be set at just in the middle of summer if it wanted to be, but it takes the extra effort to be at Christmas and get that Christmas vibe. Kevin is he's a funny character actually on paper. I would have thought this is a really hard person to make people like. He could come across as really maniacal and twisted, but Macaulay Culkin does it with such ease and charm that you can't help but like him. You're just immediately on his side, even when it comes to his siblings and things like that. You're just like, I feel sorry for this guy. I kind of want him to do well. So when he does do these kind of crazy pranks that could seriously harm someone, you're not turning the table. You're still like, yeah, get him, Kevin, get him. And I think I think that's something the original did right. That many of the sequels, the second one not being mentioned, like I said, I haven't seen it many times. But the other ones, I think they get that wrong. I think they fail to make the kid really charming and likable, and you stay on his team. Even if he is likable, I find I always changed my decision, like taking it too far now, mate. You know, I think the first one is perfect. Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, outstanding. No one else can be the Wet Bandits. It's just those two together. And of course, Joe Pesci would have just been doing things like Goodfellas and things like that, Casino. So for him to do this is total change of direction, but he does it so fantastically. It's such a memorable performance. And just to finish, the actual pranks that I was talking about, like the paint cans to the head, Marv getting electrocuted, the film does a really good job of actually making it quite it looks painful. Obviously, it's not really happening, but when you're
They
sitting
should
there,
be dead.
yeah, you're laughing a little bit, but at the same time, you're sort of going, ouch, like, oh god, yeah, when he touches the boiling hot handle, we've all burnt our hands before, we all know, oh ouch. It does a great job of kind of making you react to it. Incredibly quotable as well. Keep the change, you filthy animal. So Home Alone is my number two.
My number two, which is kind of what I was saying earlier with my previous number five, Frosty, is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, a classic tale in stop motion. I think
Oh
it's clay
yes, yeah.
animation.
I was wondering because I remember I've seen two versions. I've seen the stop motion one, and then I remember there was like the hand drawn animation one. But stop motion one, I'm on board.
It, the stop motion one is good. Like it's the classic song and like the abominable snowman and I forgot the man's name, but the I almost said hitchhiker, but the mountaineer, forgot his name. I'll look it up. But and then the island of lost toys, how they go back for them and save them. It's a fun storyline filled with kind of understanding who you are and growing to loving yourself because it starts off with discrimination right off the bat. Like his own parents are like, let's hide that red nose of yours.
Just no hiding about. Just like, yep, nope.
Yeah, and then the lesson learned is be who you are and exploit it because they still used him because he has a red nose to get through the night.
Yeah, he ended up coming in handy. Yeah, it is so as much as it's like remembered as being a song. It is one of those timeless tales, if you will. Like we're going to be telling our kids Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. It's just kind of here to stay. And like you say, there is a lot to take from it. It's quite subtle as well. Like you say, you could watch it and just be like, "Oh, that was a fun kids thing. Yeah, enjoyable. Killed 10, 20 minutes." But like you say, you take a deeper look. It does discuss discrimination. It does discuss being different and being okay with who you are and just bringing that out into the world. And it's so you could easily miss that. So it's quite a clever story, cleverly delivered,
Yeah, remember, kids, you too can be a dentist.
and have a red nose if you want.
Yeah, be a clown.
Yeah.
So, do you want to go with an honorable mention or do you want to go straight into it?
I will do it I will do an honourable mention. I it will be no surprise to you as I previously mentioned it because I wanted some clarification if it was cool. My honourable mention is Back to the Future. And that is controversial because it isn't really a Christmas movie. But the reason I chose it is the only time I ever find myself watching this movie is in that lull, that time and space where you've lost all track of days and what your name is, and you're just eating chocolate and leftover meat and things like that. In that space between Christmas Day and New Year's Day, I always watch Back to the Future in that gap there, and it's always an amazing experience. It's still nostalgic to me. It still feels festive, despite the fact that there isn't anything Christmassy going on. It is just a classic movie in general. I mean, I could say so much about it, but I'll keep it short because it is an honourable mention. The performances are great. The idea is great. The DeLorean is iconic now. People will still see a DeLorean on the road now and go, "Oh, it's the time traveling car." It is a classic movie, and screw it, it's Christmas, so it's a Christmas movie. That is my honourable
Yeah,
mention.
nice. I would have to say now that my honorable mention is now Frosty because it got booted off the list.
You're back in the room, Frosty. You're back in the room.
But and I know what your number one is, and I'm gonna say most people will probably agree with you.
Thank you. I I actually thought opposite. I thought, oh, I don't know, because since doing that movie poll that I did recently for best Christmas movie, I was amazed at how many people were after The Grinch, Elf, movies like this, and I was there. I do like them, but they just don't quite. get into the upper echelons for me personally.
Yeah.
So I did think, oh, I don't know, do people like Die Hard as much as I do, or am I just a bit of an action freak? Oh, I
You're
gave the
gonna
game
hate.
away. I said the name of the film.
Yeah, you're
Well,
gonna
no,
hate me. I
I've
haven't
ripped
seen it.
the. Have you not? Wow, that
No,
is quite
I haven't
surprising.
seen it. I
I
haven't
really
seen it.
thought you would. Well, I won't spoil it for you. I'll keep it
I know what
nice and.
happens. I know how it goes. Like I've seen clips and stuff, but I've never really seen it fully through. Like I even studied the film. Like there was a chapter on it in like one of my books that we did, and like especially in screenwriting class I took it because I know like he takes off his socks to de-stress and all that, and then that leads to more like him being more awesome because he's running through everything barefoot,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
pretty cool. Like in screenwriting class, it's like yeah, cause and effect was like the subject we are learning, and we were studying Die Hard there. I'm like, man, I really need to see this film.
It is. I absolutely would recommend it. I speak very highly of it. I won't try and sell it any more to you than it needs to be. I imagine you would enjoy it. I personally really struggle to find a flaw with it. I think the pace is probably the best pacing I've seen in a long time. It's one of the prime examples I would say to this is perfect pacing for a movie. It just completely cuts off all of the fat. And if it does sort of have a slow moment, it's because it needs to be. You need to know this bit of information, but it doesn't ever just stop and say, "Hi, audience, this is about to happen. Continue." It'll do it really subtly. It will do it without anyone actually having any dialogue, and you're just watching people do things, and you're like, "Well, what is he doing? What's he doing?" And slowly you realize, oh, he's building a bomb, or oh, he's barricading the doors. You slowly piece it together without anything being said. So I can totally see why it would be in a screenwriting module. As I was watching it the other day, I was thinking, this is just so sharp. It's so on the edge of the knife. It doesn't mess around at all. It knows what it came here to do, and it gives it to you in the perfect sequence. I think it is a masterpiece. But yes, I was going to let you answer, and then I remembered. So that brings us on to your number one.
I think I kind of spoiled it from the get go. People have been realizing what I am wearing here today. Uh, I'll
I can see it
slowly
now.
get up. And yeah, my number one is A Charlie Brown Christmas. Me and my family watch that every year. And classic tale of modernization of Christmas, basically.
This is my confession now. I
Oh,
haven't seen this one, but I think
that's
this is a
okay.
cultural. I think this is a cultural thing. Charlie Brown. It isn't that it's not popular in the UK. It's just that it's nowhere near as popular as it is in America. In America, almost everyone I've spoken to in America loves Charlie Brown. It's nostalgic for them. It's their childhood. Whereas over here, it's like, oh yeah, I remember that. It's not quite as nostalgic. But I'll allow you to take the floor. Tell me about it. Sell it to me. Why should I watch Charlie Brown's Christmas?
I'll make a I'll make a deal. You watch that, I'll watch Die Hard.
Deal, deal.
No, but the reason why I would say if you haven't seen it, especially you, Elliot, the reason why you should watch a Charlie Brown Christmas is because it is kind of like the modernization of Christmas growing into that new age, and Charlie Brown's like, why isn't like what makes Christmas special? He doesn't have that Christmas feeling right now in the film, and he's trying to figure out like what does Christmas mean to him at that point in time, and everyone's trying to give him their reasoning. Like you have the religious side, you have the oh, it's always the presents, oh, it's always this and that. But in the end, you realize it's more about the community, and more about being together with the people you care about because they're always there for you. And there's this little tree in the film that he picks out because he loves it so much because it reminds him of him himself, and to see that little tree and how they take care of it at the end, and just the smile, Charlie Brown's face, because it shows that people still care for Christmas.
Yeah, you sold it very well. I have to admit, I was invested on every word. I was like, This sounds like quite a sophisticated piece of work, actually. It's got a good message. It explores depth and the meaning of Christmas. I was actually hanging in on there. So well sold.
I went so deep dive into it because on the surface level, it's a kids' film. It's still like jokes are plenty. You follow Snoopy around and his antics, but like deep down, it is that what is Christmas becoming and what it really means.
Yeah, I actually the as much as I genuinely will check this out. What spoke to me is as I've got older. I mean, I love Christmas. I always have. When I was a kid, I was up at 5 in the morning waiting to get the presents and things like that. But it's just something that comes with age. As you get older, you're more focused on money and things like that. How can I afford this? And oh God, I've got to get that done. I don't have enough time. And am I going? Do I have to invite them? I don't really like them. And you do start to lose the Christmas spirit as you get older. So what actually watching something like that, especially as an adult, I think it can sit you down and remind you about that and just sort of say, forget about that, just relax, enjoy yourself. This is one moment a year. It all goes stressful again in a month's time. So enjoy it. Enjoy the time you have. So I think that would be a fun revisit. It'd have a good message to remind people with.
Absolutely. And that brings us to our conclusion, our top five Christmas movies. Was yours your favorite on our list? If it wasn't, please put it down in the comments what your top five Christmas movies are. And why is it not Die Hard? No, I'm kidding.
Well, I think this time next year I might have a very different list. I am definitely going to check out Charlie Brown's Christmas. I think that has potential to make its way into the top five, 100%.
Oh yeah, and we still both of us still need to see It's a Wonderful Life, so that might even be our number ones next year.
Yeah, we could be that could be a real surprise. I don't know how that is. I don't know if it's a love story. I have no idea what to expect, but I hear it comes in very high regard.
Oh yeah, no, there's so many movies out there, and they're still always being made, so it's always gonna be different every year.
Absolutely. On that note, thank you for having me. This has been a lot of fun. This was a
Yeah,
really
no,
fun. It was a good task you set me. When you came to me and asked me, I was like, I don't actually know what my top five is. That gives me something to think about and maybe watch a few of them and see if they hold up as well as I remember. So this has genuinely been really fun. It has actually helped get me into the Christmas spirit to watch some of these movies and get my Santa hat out of the cupboard for the first time this year. So thank you. Thank you for having me.
yeah, no, thanks for coming on. I'm glad we were able to collab again. It's always fun, and
Yeah, absolutely.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too. I hope you have a good one and a good new year as well.
You too, man.
No
Oh,
worries.
there's
So,
my phone.
how does we the end the recording?